Shark Tank, orangutans, and Gary Powers are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is August 19th, 2022. It is the 231st day of the year. There are 134 days left. It is the 33rd Friday in the 34th week and the 60th day of summer. There are 34 days left until fall. If today's your birthday, you're a Leo. Today is National Orangutan Day. For the love of orangutans, International Orangutan Day on August 19th spreads the awareness about the threat of their extinction. Celebrate these fantastic apes, encourage the public to take action to protect them. Since orangutans have 97% of the same DNA as humans, it shouldn't be a surprise that they are quite intelligent. Kind of makes sense that the word orangutan translates into English as person of the forest. Here are some more fun facts about orangutans. In captivity, they can live up to 60 years. Orangutans mainly eat fruit and leaves. They spend most of their time in trees where they swing from branch to branch. They can weigh up to 220 pounds, about 100 kilograms. They have arms that span 6.5 feet. There are 3 different species of orangutan. Sadly, the biggest threats to an orangutan's existence are humans. For example, deforestation is destroying a lot of their habitat. They also estimate about 3,000 orangutans are killed each year by poachers. Some wildlife experts predict the orangutan's extinction in the wild will be within the next 50 years. Orangutans, I've always loved orangutans. I think they're pretty cool. I think it was the Clint Eastwood movie Every Which Way But Loose was the one that kind of turned me onto it. And then, of course, they had Louis in Disney's production of The Jungle Book, too. Loved the orangutan. All right, let's see what else August 19th has given us. 1812, the War of 1812. The American frigate USS Constitution defeats the British frigate HMS Guerriere off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, earning the nickname Old Ironside. It's still afloat to this day. The Constitution, not the Guerriere. 1948, California Gold Rush. The New York Herald breaks the news of the gold rush that's going on in California. Here's the rub. It had been going on since January. And a lot of people in California had already headed up to Central California and the San Francisco Bay Area. You also had people coming in from Nevada, Oregon, and, Canada to get this gold. The people that really got rich off the gold rush were the people that mined the miners, basically sold stuff to the miners, conned the miners, anything else they could do to these miners and these people coming from the East Coast and around the world wanting to strike it rich. Obviously, I wasn't around back then, but I'm sure it became a total nightmare with just people everywhere thinking they were going to be the one that strikes it rich. If you ever want to read some interesting stuff, read the real story of the gold rush and how many people were murdered and how many people lost everything and how many people were conned. It's pretty alarming. Sort of reminds me of a pyramid scheme in a lot of different ways. Only the people that got in the very beginning actually make any money out of it. Everyone else just puts their money in there in the hopes of striking it rich, and they rarely do. Just recently, we talked about the guy that was the inspiration for the character Zorro. Joaquin Murrieta was one of the early gold miners in the gold rush, and he had his own plot of land. Him and his wife lived there. They were making money, and then a gang of white, I don't know what you want to call them, but they were a gang of criminals. They showed up, took his land, took all his money, killed his wife, and left him tied up to a chair. And he went on a mission of revenge, and it got ugly. It's not as romantic as the actual story of Zorro. This was brutal and it was ugly. 1862, Dakota War. During the uprising in Minnesota, Lakota warriors decide not to attack the heavily defended Fort Ridgely and instead turn on the settlement of New Ulm, killing white settlers along the way. 1953, the Cold War. The CIA and MI6 help overthrow the government of Iran and reinstate the Shah. 1989, several hundred East Germans crossed the frontier between Hungary and Austria during the Pan-European Picnic, part of the events that begin the process of the fall of the Berlin Wall. 2010, Operation Iraqi Freedom ends with the last of the United States Brigade combat teams crossing the border to Kuwait. Premiered on August 19th, 2009, Shark Tank. Everybody loves the Shark Tank. That's the one where you take your idea to these millionaire investors like Mark Cuban, Kevin O'Leary, and Lori Grainer. Barbara Corcoran is on there for a while too. But anyway, you take your idea there and maybe they fund it, maybe they don't. It's part of the show. My favorite part of the show was when Richard Branson, who's another rich guy, threw water on Mark Cuban. Apparently he never watched the show, Branson, and when they were doing their first bid with someone, I guess Mark Cuban leaned over and said, "You've never even watched this show, have you?" And apparently Richard Branson didn't take kindly to that and poured water on him. But yeah, it is a very popular show. People still love it. The show is part of the larger Dragon's Den franchise. The series won Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Structure Reality Program in 2014. But it premiered on this day in 2009. Born on August 19th, 1946, Bill Clinton. I don't know if you guys have heard of this man, but he was the President of the United States. He was actually the 42nd President of the United States who was in office from 1993 to 2001, overseeing a period of economic expansion while signing the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA. After his presidency, he started the William J. Clinton Foundation with the goal of improving health across the globe. Before fame, he endured a tragic and often abusive childhood with his alcoholic stepfather. He received his bachelor's degree in science and foreign service from Georgetown University and then went on to study at the University of Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar before attending Yale Law. He became the second president to be impeached by the House after word got out about an affair with the White House employee, Monica Lewinsky. However, he was acquitted by the Senate and thus remained in office. And he wouldn't be the last president to be impeached. He and George H.W. Bush were fierce competitors in the 1992 presidential campaign. In later years, they became very close, like a father-son relationship. Died on August 19, 2012, Tony Scott, action film director whose filmography included Top Gun, Days of Thunder, The Fan, Man on Fire, and True Romance. He also served as executive producer of the CBS series The Good Wife. He died before the sequel to Top Gun Maverick, was released in 2022. Like 10 years before it. I just went and saw Maverick. Great movie. I didn't think it was going to be, but it was outstanding. Sadly, Tony Scott died by suicide by jumping off a bridge not too far from my childhood home. Sad twist to this one. But anyway, it's the Vincent Thomas Bridge in San Pedro. He jumped off there and ended his life. When I was in high school, me and my friends decided it would be a good idea to take a pair of shoes up to the top of the bridge, leave them there with a note that said, "I can't take it anymore." Don't know what happened after that. Not one of my finer moments. When you get older, you're all, "That was dumb. Why did I do that?" All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.